Welcome, everybody, to the Scene Snobs podcast. I am, of course, your host, Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob himself, for the scenesnobs.com. That's a lot of Scene Snobs. But I am joined today with some other Scene Snobs. And I always like that. That's always fun for me. So I am happy to introduce the Key 13 film guys, if you will. I have Matt, Craig, and Charles. Guys, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going?
It is amazing. I'm glad I can get you guys on. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Yeah, we're really glad to be here, and this is definitely a welcome break from all the craziness that's going on right now.
How you guys doing with all that? How you handling and weathering the quarantine?
Well, we're doing actually okay with that. We have two lives, and in our real life, our REAL life, we are all essential workers, so we're all working pretty much from home. And then in our real life, our EEL life, we're still getting stuff done. It's just that, some of the things we had scheduled have been pushed back to at least June, if not further out.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's across the board in the movie industry. Yeah, it's pushing everything off, and it's sad to see. A little scary too, because you never know. Right now everything's so up in the air. So
one thing it does allow us to do, unfortunately for some of the projects that we had been planning, it does allow us to kind of experiment around with some other projects that we had been wanting to experiment around with, but we're kind of putting off a little bit. So we're still working.
That's great. I'm glad to hear that. And I think that's a perfect example, too. And anybody listening, I've kind of been advocating for this with other filmmaker friends of mine. If you can utilize this time to be creative, I think that's the best way to get yourselves through it,
So. That's how we feel over here also. We've been trying to get other people active on social media, particularly our filmmakers, friends out there. Just keep their brains moving. Us artists, we got to keep doing stuff.
Definitely.
Right. One of the things that we've done is we've created what we call the On the Line film event. It's not a contest. It's not there's no rewards. There's no prizes. It's just everybody who has, who makes a movie, filmmakers, actors, whatever, an up to 3-minute video. You can be as processed as you want or as open as you want, so long as it doesn't violate Facebook or YouTube standards. And just post it on the Key 13 Film Partners Facebook page. There's a post, and it's pinned to the top, that people can post links to their 3-minute or less short film, and just, share it, and so that people can just enjoy it, and hopefully, even if it's just for a little bit of time, take their mind off it, and challenge them to tell a story, in probably less time than I just took to explain the whole thing.
I got to tell you, I love that concept too, because you're seeing some things pop up, but it's really nice breath of fresh air to see other filmmakers, because that's a really big support system, and to be able to allow your platform to showcase other filmmakers who might be going through a tough time and just want to be creative and put something together. I think that's fantastic. So thank you guys for doing that. So with that, I actually wanted to get into a little bit of history about Key 13 Films and how you guys got together, your backgrounds in the film industry and things like that. So what brought you guys together to create Key 13?
How do you want to start that off, Matt?
I'll kind of start it off, and then you guys kind of take it from your point. I'll try to give you guys a good lead-in for your part. It's really kind of, the genesis started back when Charles and I were working on Bottom Creek, which is a film from that we both worked on. And Charles and I things, and we started talking about film and things, and we realized that we really liked a lot of the same things. And then while I was working on Bottom Creek, somebody brought in, one of the producers brought in Craig, who had been taking a hiatus from filming and wanted to get back into it. And so I met Craig on the last day of filming in freezing cold, wet marshland in the middle of frickin' nowhere. We froze our butts off. Poor Mel Heflin had to have her shirt ripped off, so she's running around with just nothing but a pair of shorts on in this freezing weather. And so after all that trial, and Charles was there too, after that trial, we all, Craig and I went to Roy Rogers, of all places, with one of the producers, sat down, started talking, and realized that we both had the same kind of interest. And then, Craig, you can take it from there.
Well, I was brought on as a kind of a last minute cameraman on the film he was referring to, and Matt and I just kind of kicked off from the moment we met. It's funny because typically someone who says they dislike Phantasm probably would have been a major turnoff for me, but Matt, there was something about Matt, though. We actually got to really talking about Roy Rogers, and it's for that we both share very much the same sort of passion for film, even if we don't always see eye to eye on everything. But the same passions are there, and so we just kind of clicked there. Matt and I had been talking about potentially opening up our own film business and what it was that we wanted from it. Over the course of a year, we eventually ended up forming Key 13.
That's fantastic. Now,
and then Charles, who, as I said, I'd met through working on this other film. I said, "Hey, Craig, you need to talk with this guy because this he's a good actor. He's got a lot of history in the film biz. So, Charles, why don't you kind of tell us your end of the story?"
Well, yeah, I'll fill in the blanks here. I think Matt pretty much set it up. He and I met during filming, and it was really interesting because we did kind of hit it off. And so throughout the course of our work on that, and then later on, when the three of us actually got together, we found out that, as Matt and Craig said, that we had a lot of the same interests. And I think the important thing was, as it relates to Key 13, is not only were we interested in a lot of the same genres and the types of films, but then we started realizing we just saw eye to eye on a lot of things, and there are things we don't see eye to eye on, but the important thing is that we're still able to work together and appreciate each other's opinions, and we disagree on some things, other things we agree wholeheartedly on. I think the really interesting thing for me, though, was that in working with several film companies and locally and regionally, it was really refreshing to meet people who had sort of the same passions and the same drive, because that doesn't always happen. And so it was great to meet them, but now that the three of us really are working together toward a common goal, it's just like icing on the cake for me.
well, that's fantastic. Now, I have a question for you guys on this. How many? I have No Hoodie just premiered. How many projects have you guys done so far together under Key 13?
Well, this is Hoodie is our first official release.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
But we have up until the COVID virus hit. We've had numerous different projects. We've got several scripts finished. We've got a short film that we were going to be casting recently until all of this hit. We were very much staying active and trying to get out, not necessarily a barrage of work, but at least a fair amount of what we consider to be good and presentable work.
That's fantastic. That's really good to hear, especially with the putting the scripts together. So, congratulations first on Hoodie being your first official project. I did get a chance to see it. I enjoyed it. I didn't want to do any type of review or anything. I wanted to bring you guys on and talk about it, gush over it a bit. But, before I had a chance to talk to you, of course. So congratulations on that. It's a great movie. Very, very ambitious. I enjoyed the ending. I will not give anything away. There's no spoilers. Everybody who's listening, go check it out. But yes, I did enjoy the ending, and I will leave it at that. But let me ask you about the making of Hoodie. How many nights did that take you? Because was that a cold night? It looked like a cold night.
Oh my goodness, man! It was awful. 20 to 18 degrees weather.
Oh God, I don't miss those shoots.
It was a 3-day shoot. We started on a Friday. Did a little bit there. Then we also did on Saturday. Worked till Sunday morning. And then due to some technical issues, we had to reshoot a couple of scenes on our alternate backup day.
Mm-hmm.
And finish up some footage that we hadn't gotten to on the other 2 days. So it took 3 days, but we got the whole thing done, and it was because we had such a great crew. Craig was the director of photography on that one.
Nice.
I wrote and directed Hoodie. Charles was was the voice of Officer Griffin on the phone.
Nice.
And Charles was there for the first day. Unfortunately, he had other commitments, but he was still able to call in and do his part, which was, awesome. And we had a really good cast: Bob Singer, Thomas Toohey. Sorry, he goes Tom Toohey, but who played Bob Singer, who played Zuckerman. Tom Toohey played Gordon, and then Tom's wife Angie and his daughter Anna were also out there helping us out. And then big shout out to the big man himself, Jeremy Amos, who played our lead Hoodie.
Okay.
He nailed that part. It was, one of the things you definitely should, if you didn't notice, watch his hands when he's just standing there. It gave that right amount of creepiness. So we had a fantastic cast and a great crew, and that's how come we got it done, and we got it done with the way that I had envisioned it. Craig helped me write Hoodie and tone it down, because the original script was a little bit Zuckerman was a little too racist. He was a caricature of racism. So thanks to Craig, he really helped me kind of tone that piece down. Okay. And then promised Charles this was the last time he'd play a cop.
I am in the cycle of playing cops for some unknown reason. But I do have to say that I did feel a little bit of guilt. I was out on set for the first day helping out, and then for my part as Officer Griffin, we decided we could have handled that a couple of different ways, but the way we did do it, which I think worked really well, was was that Bob Zuckerman actually did call me on the phone. And I was, this is the guilty part, I was in the comfort of my own home, nice and warm, with a cup of coffee, just waiting for the phone to ring so I could answer as the police dispatcher. While they froze to death.
That's awesome. No, I mean it's a collaborative effort, and those always feel good when you finish a project and it's like, yeah, you got to be with your buddies, kind of go to war. That's a famous saying with filmmaking, as you guys know. But you went to war and you came out on top, right?
It's what you got to do for your craft.
That's right, 100%. So with Hoodie, is there your next project? You kind of talked about a little bit, but can you elaborate a little bit more on what's going on and what it's about?
Is that next project Liar?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Liar is actually a concept that I had been floating around with writing for the past, going back to college probably, so the past 10 years now actually. And Liar's kind of a hard one to describe. It's it's a two-person play, what I would call it. But sorry guys, phone ringing. Kind of a two-person play, and it's a heavy piece. Darn it, the phone keeps ringing. It's a heavy piece that has to do with family issues, family dramas, and the kind of the breakdown of the family, of a small family unit in general.
Okay, all right. Well, so that's a kind of a big step away from the genre of that Hoodie fits in, I would say.
Well, I got to tell you that I love horror, and I've been doing horror for a very long time, and I've been watching horror since I was a kid in the 80s. But at the same time, I've kind of evolved as I've gotten older as a human to wanting to write deeper, more what I would call more passionate drama kind of plays. And it's not that I don't want to do horror, but I felt that this was something that I wanted to do. It needed to be done, and it could not be a horror movie in order for me to make it work.
Okay. Well, that's yeah, I like that though. I like that you guys are, you're versatile with the movies that you want to make and the stories you want to tell. That's always important, and especially with any film company, production company. So that's good to hear, and it's refreshing that it's in Virginia. You guys primarily film here in Virginia, right?
Yeah, correct. Well, we filmed Hoodie actually on my property. We dressed my property up to look like it was a park, but it's actually just a big 40 acres of farmland.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we could very easily make a horror film out in the woods, but that's not. When we decided to do this endeavor, we said, okay, we're not going to make those kinds of movies. Not that they're bad. It's just that's not the movies we wanted to make. We wanted to make Hoodie. Hoodie does have kind of a horror element to it, but it's really not a horror film. It was not intended to be a straight-up horror film, which explains why some of the reviews are a little bit, they're like, they really like it, but they're really kind of surprised on how it goes. Liar is a straight-up drama. There is no horror element whatsoever. But then we're going to go back to that with the project that we're going to work on after it, which is Development Hell.
Well, and that is actually more of what I would consider kind of a parody of several different genres of horror, actually.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so kind of like that'll be your return to it. Well, I don't want to say return to it because, like you said, with Hoodie, it is again. I don't want to give anything away, so I'm trying to I'm trying to choose my words properly. You're right; it isn't a horror film, nor should it be looked at as that. But it definitely turns things on its head in a horrific way, I think.
Well, and I'm not going to give away any bit of the ending as far as Hoodie goes, but I can tell you that when Matt and I were sitting down, figuring out the ending for that proved fairly difficult because we could have gone quite a few different routes with that, and we finally decided that that was probably going to be the best route that to go with it. We didn't want it to fall into we didn't want it to be a cliche, so we had to figure a way to turn things on its head.
Yeah, it originally was far more horrific than what actually happened. And that's, Craig and I really sat down and talked about this. And when, we were working on this, we kind of realized that, we could go the obvious way, but that's not what we wanted to do. So, and that's something that we really is kind of a running thing with Keith 13 Film Partners, is that we don't want to do the obvious thing. We don't want to do the simplest thing. We want to push ourselves as writers, as directors, as filmmakers, and we want to give not only us, but others, actors and other filmmakers in this area, the opportunity to really explore and push their limits and come up with something new and different, while at the same time still working on the types of stories that they love to do.
Nice. Okay. I have one quick question about Hoodie too. How big was the crew for that?
Well, it was myself, Craig, Anna, and Angie. That was the if you want to just talk about and Jeremy. A lot of people pulled double duty. Pretty much everybody pulled double duty.
Oh wow, that's great. For a production like that.
Tom was recording the sound while he was playing Gordon along with Zuckerman. Jeremy, who was our lead Hoodie, was also recording sound for the external things. Craig was pretty much just doing the DP stuff. I was directing as well as handling the camera and working on the lighting, as the gaffer. So, we all pretty much had double or triple duties. So if you want to, everybody involved in Hoodie was the cast, and everybody involved in Hoodie was the crew, I should say. But there was only four. Five. Yeah, pretty much. Craig and I are the only two people who actually didn't have a role in Hoodie.
Well, that would be hard to double down on. But
and honestly, you don't want me in front of the camera. I am just an awful actor.
I gotta tell you though, that's really interesting to hear, considering the production of it. I would have thought a lot more, honestly. But that's great. That was great that you're able to do it, and especially in 3 days too. Well, I gotta imagine with the cold that past experience for me just says the colder it is, the less takes you want to do. So you're gonna try and get it right up first one.
Actually, I don't think pretty much every scene except for maybe one had a minimum of 3 takes. Again, credit due to the incredible cast and crew on this is because we were freezing our butts off, except for Charles at home in his nice comfy chair with his warm cup of coffee. But he was there the first day, so he did at least get the taste of it. So he got I don't know what would be the term. He got vetted there, so he's good. But we are not one take jakes.
Good.
We don't we don't just do it and then we're done. And if we're not 100% satisfied, we will keep doing it. Now, we're not Stanley Kubrick level and do it like a zillion times and make poor Shelley Duvall go absolutely crazy, but we definitely don't just do one take and done. We can't do it until we get it right, or we have enough options to really make it in some ways easier, in some ways tougher to pick and choose what we're going to use.
Awesome. That's good to hear. It's refreshing too, because a lot of time indie filmmakers, not to put anybody down, will. It's good enough. It's almost a Ed Wood style of filmmaking, but it is good to hear.
And to address that, I think that is part of what separates what we're doing to a lot of our peers. I have no problem with our friends doing the kind of an Ed Wood style filmmaking. They're doing it because they love to do it. But we're trying to do something that's bigger than that. And that's, as I said, that's not to cut back on them. I have fun with the low budget grade Z stuff as much as any one of us film snobs have with that. But we want more. We want more quality with our work.
Good. That's good to hear. But even like on what you were saying, like that's why I can respect somebody like an Ed Wood, because even though he was rushing through, there was still a passion there, and it was, you know,
Ed Wood loved what he was doing.
You know, there was the mistakes were there because he was trying to, you know, so you got to respect those guys. You know, those old B movie filmmaker. Well, he was more of a D, but I'll give him that. I still love them. Make it work any way you can. The show goes on. Type of filmmaking.
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, Ed Wood, you know, Herschel Gordon Lewis, those guys. I mean, I love those movies. They're bad movies, but damn if they aren't fun.
They're a hell of a lot of fun. You're absolutely right. And that actually leads me into my next question with you guys. Who are some of your filmmaking influences?
Matt, you want to start with that?
Actually, I was going to pass it over to Charles first.
Yeah, Charles.
Oh, okay. Wow. You know, I am a really bad person when it comes to answering a question like that, because I I could probably talk for an hour about that. I don't really have, like, you know, the two people that really influenced me the most. I tell you though, I have always enjoyed film since I was a kid. I'm probably the only 5-year-old I knew who really loved The Grapes of Wrath.
All right.
There were just, you know, things about you know, films from all sorts of genres, but for some reason, as a young child, I was really drawn to a lot of these you know, classic films. You know, a 5-year-old's gonna like Wizard of Oz, you know, some of these other things, but here I was, you know, I was watching, like I said, Grapes of Wrath, Sunset Boulevard, you know, a lot of these old classic movies, and you know, and actually, talking about Sunset Boulevard, I kind of classify that as kind of a horror movie. I was always drawn to the really the symbolic aspects of that film, and so as I got older, I really looked for things like that. And so as far as, you know, who influenced me the most, it's really, really hard to say. I mean, there are so many people, and not really one sticks out to me. I don't know, Craig. I mean, do you have any more specific types of influences?
Oh, yeah, goodness, absolutely. I mean, it depends really what genre, but, you know, I grew up with, you know, Mario Bava, Argento, you know, and then, you know, from Japan, stuff like Shinya Tsukamoto. You know, of course, then there's Cronenberg, Kubrick, hell, even William Blatty, who wrote The Exorcist, all of those guys, and there's many more than that, but all of them have, without a doubt, influenced the way that I look at film and what it is that I want to do with film as a filmmaker.
Okay. And Craig, how about you?
Well, that was correct.
Oh, Craig, I'm sorry, Matt. How about you? I'm sorry. You got.
Well, my influences are fairly broad-ranging. My hero, regardless of the rather back and forth reputation, Roger Corman for me was one of those people. The movies he would make, I mean, they ran the gamut between terrible and awful. And I just the spirit of that. And then when Robert Rodriguez came along, his spirit was a big. I'm a big fan of the directors and that really took the spirit of filmmaking and really ran with it. James Cameron. Again, Roger Corman. If you want to. They should play a game called 6 Degrees of Roger Corman. Because
everyone started with Corman.
Yeah. You can pretty much trace everybody back to Corman in some way. And then, I have others. It's like, John Wells, who directed Burnt. Michael Mann, of course. Of course, the biggies, Kubrick, Spielberg, Lucas. Though Lucas, not so much as a writer, and I know Star Wars fans are now going to yell at me and hate me for the rest of my life. But I'm saying it out loud. Lucas is not always a great writer, and I will also say the same about Joss Whedon too. But that being said, I love watching Joss Whedon movies that he directs because he does get that right kind of energy injected into it. So I really. For me, it's always more so about the film than necessarily about the director. But there's a lot of different influences, and what I try to do is I just try to do it in a way that I think that I see it in my head, and then there's usually maybe Kubrick or Ridley Scott or Rodriguez or a Corman film that might just tick in my head and go, oh, okay, I saw how they do it. I want to do it that way.
I tell you, never sleep on Corman. Still one of the most successful producers of all time.
Oh, yeah.
And I think my favorite story about him, if you will, indulge me for a sec. I had when I was living in Los Angeles, there's a very old man named Jim Knight. He lived in my apartment complex, and he would come down, and my roommate and I would carry his bike down for him, his Schwinn bike that weighed about 1,000 pounds, down the stairs for him every day. And he would always tell us stories, and he had a great story about Roger Corman. Back in the day, in the original Roger Corman 50s productions, he would hire his friends to come on and play about 5 or 6 roles in one movie. And Jim was telling me, he was like, I would be the paper man, I'd be one of the police officers, I'd be doing this, all for one movie. And the reason he would do that is because they get 5 separate paychecks. So I got a lot of love for Corman, especially to do something like that for his buddies.
Well, and I think that any one of us that understands film in any way has got to bow to Corman at least to some degree. I mean, the guy has done everything. So many famous people in the industry. I mean, hell, Francis Ford Coppola started with Corman.
Oh, yeah.
Jack Nicholson. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's just the man is a living legend, truly.
Oh, 100%. And I don't think I've ever heard anybody have a bad word about him. So yeah. That's the best part. And I love your influences. So it's fantastic. It's such a wide span, too, which is fantastic because that means bringing to the table when you're getting creative, you have such Well, wide span is probably the best way to put it, but you can take from different things that are very different and bring something new to the table and original.
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that because the three of us actually have started our own little film club where we pick a movie that means something very personal or something that we really love, and once a month we bring it to the table. And part of the reason why we do that is that when we are working on film, we can say, hey, you remember the scene from such and such a movie? And then they'll know, the other guys will know exactly what it is that I'm referring to, and we can all work together at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have a large Asian influence as well. Directors like Suzuki Seijun and Ryuhei Kitamura, who did Versus. Suzuki Seijun is a legend in Japan that most Americans have never heard of. So when we had Film Club, they brought that, one of my favorite Suzuki Seijun movies, and showed him, okay, this. And then the next movie I picked, I could point to specific scenes in that movie and say, okay, they ate that from Seijun. So that's one of the great things about it, as Craig said, is that we can really learn our influences and see movies. And I mean, I don't think we've watched an American film yet, because we watched a German film, an Austrian film, Japanese films.
Nice.
Our first American film is coming up this weekend, actually.
Yeah. Peter Blatty's
Ninth Configuration.
Yeah, that's going to be the first American movie that we've actually watched since we started this about 4 months ago.
Yeah, about right. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I love that idea of like you guys getting together to look for influences through this film club and watch something new. Really, not new to you, but like new to one of you or something.
Well, typically what we do is we will ask the others whether they've seen it, and if if I've seen it and let's say Charles has seen it, then we probably won't pick it. So we really try to be very specific so that it's something very new for the other members.
Yes.
Yeah, I know the first film that I kind of brought to this group was a Japanese film from the 60s, Onibaba. It was directed by, Kaneto Shindo. And I had not seen the film before. I actually ran across it because I was looking at an interview of a director, and now that director's name just escapes me, but someone asked him, what films influenced you as a young filmmaker, and he mentioned this film Onibaba, which I'd never heard of before, so I looked it up. I did watch it. It was very, very fascinating film, and so that was the film that I first brought to this group. And then Matt had brought another Japanese film, which was very, very interesting, and the name escapes me. Matt, where is it?
Branded to Kill.
Branded to Kill. Thank you. This has been. It's been not only a lot of fun, but it's been great to sit around and just discuss the film as we're watching it.
That's awesome.
So it has definitely helped, I think, me grow and see a lot of films that I had never seen before, and I hope it's the same with the other guys as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is something I look forward to on a monthly basis.
Yeah, me too.
Well, do you guys have? Can you fill us in on what the next movie's going to be, or is that top secret?
That is the Ninth Configuration by William Peter Blatty. It's actually the movie that he wanted William Friedkin to direct before they decided to direct The Exorcist. But Blatty wrote and directed it. It's it's a masterpiece that most people have never even seen.
That's awesome. I will have to check it out. I haven't seen the Ninth Configuration, so I'm glad you said that. I will watch that promptly.
Just an amazing movie.
Well, it's interesting to me with all the movies and filmmakers that you guys are naming that you have a show called Terribly Awful.
Yes.
And I've seen some episodes, and I have to say that it's a lot of fun. What propelled you guys to do something like this?
Well, okay, so it started with me actually. I love good movies, but I am also a great Z movie aficionado, and it kind of started with reading reviews on places like the Internet Movie Database and other review sites, where they were listing, reviewers would list this, like such and such a movie is the worst movie of all time, or this is the worst movie of all time. And most of the movies they were listing were movies that didn't even scrape the surface of the worst of the worst. Here I am sitting on a gold mine, or, well, if you want to call it a gold mine, of crap movies that I've collected over the years. And I decided that I kind of wanted to make a show. Initially, it was just me, and I would sit there, and throughout the duration of the movie, I would record responses as I'm cringing, or just any sort of horrible response that I was going to get, I was going to put on air to show how I'm being tormented by these awful films, as well as to raise some awareness of movies like, let's say, Corpse Grinders Part 2 or Axum, movies that most people have never heard of, but if they sat down and watched them, they would be, like, severely damaged because of how bad they were.
Well, can you tell me...
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, can you tell me some of the movies that you've watched? Now, like I said, I've seen some of them, but some of our listeners have not. I want them to be able to find you guys. So if you...
Well, some of the movies that we have covered, as I mentioned, there was Corpse Grinders 2, there was Axum, Criminally Insane Part 2. Uwe Boll, for instance, is a regular for us to pick from because all of his movies are bad. There is just like a slew of movies that we really are careful with what it is that we pick per season, but I'm always sitting on a slew of movies. Like, for instance, The Headless Eyes. It's hard to almost, you can barely even sit through it. Future Kill, for instance, Dracula 3000, Mutant Hunt. All these movies are just abysmal.
Probably the one movie, besides anything by Uwe Boll, is that I think the worst movie we actually watched, just by the reaction, was The Vulture's Eye. It's our number one. It's our most watched episode.
And real quick about The Vulture's Eye. The Vulture's Eye was filmed locally back about 15 or so years ago. It apparently is supposed to take place in Purcellville, Virginia, but it clearly was filmed in Middleburg.
Well, to the layman who doesn't know Virginia, I'm sure that could pass, but I definitely understand what you're saying. I'm from Jersey, so I see a lot of movies that say they're from Jersey, like Friday the 13th 2 through 100. And none of them are from New Jersey. But I gotta say, I do love the concept. And I do want to bring up that, we did, of course, just lose the great Stuart Gordon. And
yeah, that was crushing here, actually.
Yeah, and you guys did do a movie for him, Robot Jocks.
One of the positive reviews, actually.
Yeah. Robot Jocks. For me, big Asian cinema fan, Robot Jox for me was like the best of both worlds. A really bad movie with awesome special effects. And we also knew that Faye Guerrera over at Psycho Cinema absolutely loved Stuart Gordon, and she loved Robot Jox as well. So she was really kind enough to come and do that special episode.
Nice.
For us, and it's just Stuart Gordon. Craig is like he knows the entire catalog of Stuart Gordon.
I literally grew up watching. The first movie of his I ever saw was Dolls when I was probably 7 years old.
So yeah, we were all very surprised, when he passed away, but yeah, we definitely love Robot Jox. I mean, I don't think there's a movie of his that any of us can really poo-poo. Not unlike Death Run to Istanbul, which we just absolutely loathe and despise. I do want to take this opportunity to mention for season 3 of Terribly Awful, Charles is going to be joining us as a semi-regular host with it.
Nice.
We also have a lineup of local writers, directors, and even Faye to do episodes of the show. So for season 3, it's 3 times the fun, 3 times the pain, 3 times the people.
Well,
So,
I am very much looking forward to that. I can't wait till it starts. And is there any hints to maybe the first movie in the season that you guys are gonna be going with, or?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty special one. I think we may want to keep it under wraps until we're good and ready to release it, because this is one that's this is going to be a good one. I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
I will say though that a couple of the movies that were done in season 1 are going to be coming back for season 3 because we haven't seen Charles and I have not seen them. So
and I have to torture these two guys because I mean, there are 2 movies in the first season that I personally consider 2 of the worst films of all time. And I want these 2 guys to suffer through it with me.
well, can I ask what those are?
It was Actum and Corpse Grinders Part 2 are definitely in the top 5 worst films I have ever seen. And Actum is probably there have been some bad movies, like Matt referenced Death Run to Istanbul or Vulture's Eye, but Actum is a movie that should be shown in colleges to people of everything that you don't do when working on a movie.
That's awesome. Might I throw one out to you guys, maybe?
Go for it.
Oh yeah.
There's a movie that was made in New Jersey about 10 years ago, I want to say, maybe a little bit more, called Mary Horror. I don't know how easy it is to find. I believe I have a copy of it. If I do, I can always loan it out. But that's one I would love for you guys to check out and get get your thoughts on it.
Because I'll do the research and I'll find it no matter what.
Oh yeah. Some of the movies that we got coming up are hard ones to find, and he's managed to locate them. So he can mine the depths of the internet for some of the dreck that's out there. So definitely, we will definitely be keeping a lookout for that. And it's a season we've already started planning season 4, and we haven't even started filming season 3 yet, which hopefully we will start up here very soon. it's all dependent upon the schedules of all our guests, the guest hosts. But it's season 3 is going to be. It's going to be a little bit different since it's now being produced by Key 13 Film Partners.
Bigger production.
Yeah, it's good. Bigger production, slightly different format, but it's still going to be the same old goodness of watching 3 people this time go completely insane from watching horrific movies.
I love that. I did want. I really appreciate talking to you guys and learning more about Key 13 and your projects and Terribly Awful. I was kind of hoping to kind of end the show. Maybe I would ask you guys some trivia questions, some movie trivia questions, if you're up for it.
Sure.
And now,
Try it.
so I'm just going to throw out. I picked out some, and I'm keeping points here. So what I say is. Just call out your name. First person to call out gets to answer. How's that sound?
Cool.
All right.
It's probably going to be Craig, so I'm just going to kind of sit back and relax.
I think you'll enjoy this. Come on, Matt. All right. So, what is Angelina Jolie's first movie?
Matt,
Cyber 2.
hey, you're supposed to call out your name.
You're supposed to call.
Sorry.
So I have to go back to Matt.
Cyborg 2, and I have it on Laserdisc.
Oh, that's awesome.
Japanese Laserdisc.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I'm glad I asked that question first then. I knew something told me ask this question. So these are gonna be they're not all gonna be horror or trashy movie, if you will, because I love that term, related. But here's I'll give you the next one. So, Silence of the Lambs had a prequel movie that was remade and called by its book title.
Craig, Manhunter.
Manhunter. Craig got it. All right. And for bonus points, who was the star?
Matt.
William.
Matt.
William Peterson.
William Peterson. All right. Matt's got 2 points. Craig 1. Charles, come on. You got to get on the board, man.
Oh, man. Bringing up the rear.
There's a little bit of a difficult one, but you guys, I have complete faith in all of you. Frank Darabont seriously contemplated selling the movie The Shawshank Redemption script to which person?
That I do not know.
Got on that one.
Rob Reiner. One of his old producer buddies. So, I'm surprised I stumped you guys on that one.
Yeah.
All right, I know.
On that one.
I will give you this one. All right. Which American Graffiti actor also starred in the Star Wars movies?
Charles, go for that one. Give him the
Okay, Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford. Is that going to Charles? So,
Yes, I'm
All
sorry.
right.
We're giving it to Charles.
Gotta get him on the board, man. We're partners. 13 film partners.
Hey, I love it. That's the way to do it. All right. Okay. Are you guys comic book fans?
Yes.
All right.
He is. I mean, I grew up with him, but I'm more of a movie guy.
Which famous comic book artist was the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse dedicated to?
Crap, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's probably the best Spider-Man there is.
That's what I've heard.
Well, it's probably dedicated to Stan Lee, is my bet. That would be my guess, but I'm probably wrong.
It was dedicated to Steve Ditko.
Steve Ditko, of course, the co-creator. Yes.
Yep. All right. Just going to get a few more.
All right.
But right now, Matt, you're in the lead. Okay. Oh, this will be a good one. All right. Who is the Lord referred to in the title Lord of the Rings?
Who's the Lord referred to in Lord of the Rings?
I'm not a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I'll have to step out on this one.
Yeah, nor I.
Geez. I should know this because I read the books growing up years. I can't remember.
It's Vigo's character, whatever it was.
No, unfortunately, it is the Dark Lord Sauron.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well-
You can tell we are really big Lord of the Rings fans.
Well, I am hoping on this one you are a big enough fan of Frank Capra. So, what state is the setting of It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh, you should know.
Charles, come on, man.
I should know that one. Oh, that is terrible. I'm going to kick myself for not knowing that. Gosh, I would. I'm drawing a blank.
Take a guess.
I would say
New York.
Matt, you got it.
I will.
I'm ready to say Illinois. It's like, no, it's not Illinois.
I will admit, I have never seen, nor have I ever had any interest in seeing It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, you ain't missing much. It's a rather depressing movie.
It is a very depressing movie, and I don't know why I still have to watch it every Christmas. But I agree, it's a very depressing movie.
That's why you watch Christmas Story, because Christmas Story is never a bad thing to watch during Christmas.
Here I'm watching Silent Night, Deadly Night every Christmas, so you know.
Well, it's not surprising considering that we watched Halloween 3 on Halloween. We love Halloween 3. We really did.
Great movie. All right, I'm going to go to 5. Matt, you're in the lead with 3. First person to get 5 questions right wins, and you are the Scene Snob movie trivia champion. The first ever, because I've never done this before on my show. So, so Leon was the motion picture debut of which one of its stars?
Natalie Portman.
Yep. Oh, Matt, 4. You got one more, and then you win. I got to get creative here. Find some stuff.
If it's a horror movie, if you ask a horror question, I can guarantee you Craig's going to beat my ass.
I'm waiting for like some Italian horror movie question here.
Well, I can give you. It's actually don't go looking for it, but if you guys haven't heard, I am doing a watch party every Saturday for PC and other horror members, where we all get together and watch a movie. It is one of the choices of this week's poll, so you can vote on the movie. But what was Brink Stevens' first movie?
Oh, jeez. Oh. Brink Stevens.
Never heard of him.
Her?
I said L,
Yes.
I don't know if it was because it sounds like a dude's name. It sounds like Red Brown, a character Red Brown.
No, I should know this, and it's driving me crazy.
it was not. See, I was going to say Slumber Party Massacre, but I don't think that's right.
It was Slumber Party Massacre.
Oh,
I was going to say Sorority House Massacre, but I knew that wasn't right.
That was a very good pull, Charles. Very good pull.
Whoa.
I think Charles should get double points on that one. That one. Yeah, you should get.
I answered it thinking I was wrong, though. That was the weird thing.
I'll give another point if you could tell me the name of what was the killer called in it.
Oh,
Think of what he was using, Charles.
Whatever you think is the wrong answer is the right answer.
oh no! I feel like like George Costanza. I don't know. What driller? I don't know.
So close, so close. Craig, you want to take it?
Was it the Driller Killer?
The Driller Killer.
The driller killer. Oh, okay.
You're close, Charles. You're close. I think half a point for Charles.
Now, because we're all PC members, and I love horror, and I know you love horror, I'm going to stick to another horror question for this one. Okay? All right. What yogurty substance...
The stuff!
I said the stuff.
I said my name first!
You guys are all saying it. I don't know who actually said it.
I was just laughing too much at yogurty substance to say anything.
Was...
I didn't tell you who directed and starred in it.
God. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Charles, who directed it?
Oh, you gave it to me, and I honestly, I'm just drawing a blank on.
I'll give you a hint, Charles. He's another director that's passed away within, I believe the past year.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah.
Great documentary on him, too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay.
I'll give you another.
Give me a second.
He directed Q, The Winged Serpent.
Great movie.
Larry Cohen.
Also,
Yes!
yes, Larry Cohen. So I'm going to split the points on that. Charles, you get a point for Larry Cohen. Matt, you also said the stuff, so I'm going to give you a point. And that makes Matt the first ever Scene Snobs movie trivia champion.
All right.
Guys, I want to say I had a great time with this, and we're doing this again when you get in studio. I hope you know that.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to that trip.
But congratulations, Matt. Guys, I love it. I really appreciated Hoodie. Can't wait for the rest of your projects. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Well, thank you for having us.
This was a great time. I love being able to. It's like going back to film school again. I love being able to talk to other filmmakers, and even though I'm out of the field for a long time, but I love being able to talk movies. And you guys have been a joy to talk to tonight. Thank you very much.
Same here. And if you ever want to get back into it, we're just up the road, so don't be afraid. One of the things that we're trying to do once we get a little bit further down the road and past all this COVID nonsense, I know I'm not trying to say it's nonsense. I'm just saying with all the craziness going on, we're going to start reaching out and trying to bring in more people. Development health's going to be probably one of our biggest projects, and we're going to be looking for a lot of help from a lot of people in this area. So we're once COVID is cleared and things start returning back to normal, if you've got some stuff you want to try to get back into, you're more welcome to come on down and join in.
Well, I appreciate that, and I think we might talk more about that. That might be a lot of fun, something to dive into. It's been a long time, but I do miss it every day. But I do also enjoy this. And this has been the Scene Snobs podcast. Again, guys, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Guys, everybody go out, check out Hoodie. Follow Key 13 Films. You guys are on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and such. I know I follow you guys. So just everybody be sure to go out and check out their stuff. Support them. Support indie filmmaking always. That's the most important thing in my opinion. And just thank you again, guys, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks again thanks so much.
All right. Until next time, everybody, this is The Scene Snob. Go check out thescenesnobs.com. Follow us at The Scene Snob on social media. It's been a great time. I love talking to you guys. Everybody have a good day.
Have a good one, bro.
Take care. Bye, guys.